Welcome back to episode 9 of Yak and Ball. It is Sunday, September 22nd. We got 1 week exactly left of baseball, boys. How we feeling?
It's going to be pretty exciting. There's some tight races going on in the playoff picture. It's going to be pretty interesting how it turns out.
Yeah, I'm excited for the wild card race there.
Definitely. Speaking of tight races, we have another tie for Series of the Week last week. And once again, it is head-to-head with the brothers. I missed out by 1 game. What's new? So we got 3 questions for the burrito tiebreaker. Our first question. Who has the most home runs this season of these 3 players? And these questions have a little bit to do with the Padres and the Astros. So if you boys wouldn't mind writing down your answers or just in your head, you can remember. All right, who has the most home runs on the season? A, Alex Bregman, B, Jackson Merrill MVP, or C, Kyle Tucker? You boys got your answers?
Yes.
You want to say it out loud or want to do it after?
Let's just do it after each one, just so we add a little intensity and smarts to the next questions.
Alrighty, so who you got, Nick?
Jackson Merrill.
Alex Bregman.
It is Alex Bregman by 1 home run. So Alex has 25, Jackson 24, Kyle Tuck has 22.
Which is crazy.
We know he'd be a lot. Yeah, we know he'd have a lot more if he was still healthy the whole time. Alrighty, who has more home runs all time? A, Griffey Jr., B, Willie Mays, or C, Sammy Sosa? What do you got, big man?
You said it's Griffey, Willie Mays, or Sammy Sosa? Take Griffey.
Okay.
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays is correct.
Let's go.
Willie Mays has 660, Griffey has 630, Sosa's got 609. Alrighty, boys, this is another question that should be interesting. You got 1 of 2 questions here, it is tied. So question 3, who has a better head-to-head record all time? Pods v. Astros, and keep in mind that these 2 are in the same division for years. So, who has the
Who has
better
the winning record
against each other?
Against each other.
Head-to-head. Specifically.
Astros.
Padres.
Astros.
Let's go! I finally beat him a
Take the road. Let's go, Jay. Let's go.
I'm just like the Astros. The Astros have a ring, right? Or like pre Altuve era. Like they never won in like the 2000s.
No.
I feel like they made like more playoff
Yeah.
runs though.
They've had 17 playoff appearances in their franchise history, from what I was able to tell. So, head-to-head record, Astros are 319 to 293. So, quite a
That's a lot of games, but they're in the same division. That's not sure.
You almost stumped me with the home run one because I'm like Sammy Sosa was a Reuter, so it was like.
Yeah, I feel like Ken Griffey is a lot closer to A-Rod, but I guess not.
Alright, he is dethroned for the time being. He's still only ever lost twice, so he's got a pretty good record. I think we know he'll win on the year. But, anyways, moving on to the playoff picture. What do you got cooking for us, big man?
Well, I mean, just looking at the standings, there's a lot of teams that have now been eliminated. We've seen now that as of today, as of right now as we're filming, 5 teams in the AL have been eliminated, while we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams eliminated in the NL, so 14 total there. So in this last week, it's getting tight. So I guess the main thing is, just really quick, out of the teams that are in guaranteed, already clinched, or in the hunt in the wild card, just real quick, who we think it is the most dangerous team?
Well, I think if we start with the National League, I think the Phillies are still the most dangerous team in the league. I know they've had their ups and downs. I know they're 1 game off of the best record in the Dodgers, but I just think they are a more complete team as of right now. I think with the starting pitching being decimated with LA, I think that I would say the Phillies for the National League are my most dangerous team.
I would have to go with the Dodgers. I just think the firepower that they have, with the three-headed monster, especially Shohei. I guess we'll have to see with him in the playoffs because he's never been to the playoffs. So that'll be interesting to see Shohei perform in the postseason. But Mookie's been there. Obviously, Freddie Freeman's been there. And then they just added more people like Teoscar, who's been a surprise hit. I don't think anybody thought that he was going to play as good as he has this year for the Dodgers. So I think for the NL, the Dodgers are the team to look out for.
I mean, even in today's game, I mean, it's against the Rockies, but Yamamoto, who is now their ace, he got rocked in the first inning for 3. I think it was 4-0 at one point, and yet who ties it in the 9th but Ohtani and walks it off, but Mookie Betts. So.
For me, at least for the NL, gonna have to go with the Padres. I mean, Ryan and I were at the tiebreaker game against the Astros, and I've been an Astros fan for a long time, and they've been dominant pretty much since I've been a fan. I have never seen them get dominated as hard as that. Like, the offense wasn't there, but the pitching has been there. And I've been looking at some stats right now, team stats for September. The Padres are 6th best in team OPS, and then they are 2nd best in team ERA. So, in terms of balance, elite teams, right now in September, especially within the playoffs, the Padres are that. We got teams like the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, the Phillies, especially just in the NL. They're hitting great. Like, they're hitting wise, they're better than the Padres, but their ERA it's not good. Like, they're bottom 10 out of all the MLB. So they're having problems right now with pitching, whether it be because of injuries or whatnot. But the Padres right now, I mean, they had a couple games look scary against the White Sox this weekend, but when you're looking at the stats, I mean, they are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, they're definitely a team. They're the team I wanted to pick, but I didn't want to be too biased. And then what are you guys thinking for AL?
I think the one that we should all look out for is the Tigers.
Yeah.
On an insane run. Yeah.
I think for me, I still would put my cards with the Astros. They don't have the best record. They're not necessarily the flashiest team, but there is holes amongst the Yankees, even though they do have a lot of star power. I know if they do click in all gears, they definitely will be dangerous. Guardians, I still don't completely trust with their second half. Baltimore, we'll talk about that later, but really not stoked on them right now. And then the Royals are struggling hard as well, but the Tigers, they are the hottest team right now, so I think they're definitely dangerous, but I think overall, Houston is built for October. I mean, it's been 8 or 9 years in a row they've proven that.
Yeah, so for me, Tigers is definitely an easy one to go with. They have been the hottest team since like August. I mean, when I'm looking at teams that I want to make predictions for hottest, I'm looking at like the 2023 Diamondbacks. Who's most likely like that? When I'm looking at player personnel, it's definitely the Tigers. Young talent. They have a young outfielder that's their star player, probably getting Corbin Carroll. So pitching, but
It's like the Dodgers though. Like, I think they had a solid starting rotation, but they had like the main dude Zach Gallen last year, and so it's kind of like the Tigers this year. It's the schools.
Yeah, and like the rest of the rotation have been in, but now they're all locking in. That's like the D-backs last year. I mean, Schoolball's been great, as we know, all of this year, but now we see other guys coming into the fold, young guys that are just helping out Schoolball, helping win games. And like the hitting, it's not like, the D-backs or the Padres, but they are consistently keeping the pitching, the pitching's keeping the hitting in games, but the hitting is not slouching either. So they're looking really balanced. But I think it's time to start giving the Yankees some credit. We're starting to see them pull away big time from the Orioles. Let me check if they've.
Don't say it.
Let me see if they've at least clinched a playoff berth, but they've got to be a game or two away from clinching the division as well. They've really started to distance themselves, and I'm looking at it too in terms of team ERA in September. They're 7th, and then team OPS they are 11th. So once again, I'm looking at teams that are balanced both pitching hitting wise going into this last week, and the Yankees definitely fit that criteria.
Yeah, I do love the Tigers right now. I think they're probably the most fun storyline in baseball. This was a team that wasn't supposed to be there. They sold at the deadline. They got hot and they were like fun, but it was like, yeah, they'll probably miss out. Yet here we are, 6 games to go, and yet they are tied for the second wild card team. So I would love a 1984 rematch between the Detroit Tigers and the San Diego Padres. This time, maybe the Padres.
Oh, I would have a feeling they'd win, but each of these teams both took different paths, and they both look different. But each of these teams have similar things. They both need to keep specific players off the field. The Tigers need to keep Javi Baez off the field. The Yankees need to keep Clay Holmes off the mound. If that happens, then who knows what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Now, moving on to who's hot, who's not. Who wants to get started?
Want to go first, Jake?
Sure. Sorry, I'm just putting the timestamps down. Alright, so my who's hot, both are Braves. One, you probably would guess it, the other one maybe not so much. So the first guy, the old reliable Matt Olson, he's hitting 368, he's got 4 homers, 10 RBIs, and he's drawn 8 walks, while only striking out twice in the last 7 days. So that's pretty stinking good for Matt Olson, who's a free swinger. And then the other guy, Ramon Laureano, he kind of plays all outfield positions. We can remember Laureano as a fallen soldier of the A's regime. Back in the
guy
day.
you just mentioned.
He was signed off the trash heap after Acuna went down yet again with another ECL tear this year. His last 7 games, he's been hitting 333, 2 home runs, 5 ribbies. I think that's pretty solid from a guy who, if we were looking at his career up to this point, he was looking kind of donezo. But he's maximized his opportunities from being signed because of injuries, and I think his play as of late might land him a more longer-term contract. The Braves are currently 2 games back from that last wild card spot. Only a week left of the regular season ball, so hopefully these guys can try to make a little late 1-week push here.
And you mentioned those 2 former A's. Makes you getting all the stuff about the 2018 Athletics. What could have been if they weren't cheapskates?
That's true. Okay, and then my who's not. Jackson Churio of the Brewers. We've talked a lot about the Jackson 3 on our podcast during the regular season. I think Churio is undeniably number 2 out of the 3. He's had a great rookie season. And his play has helped the Brew Crew to clinch their division. But in the last 7 days, Churio has posted a 182 average, 0 ribbies, 0 home runs, and 9 strikeouts. I think the Brewers will need this guy to reheat come playoffs if they want to try to make a long run in the postseason. So those are my guys.
I won't take Jackson Churio disrespect. I'm willing to sit on that over Merrill, but can't deny the stats.
On the last 7 days.
Yeah, not in the last 7 days. I'll go ahead and go next. So for my who's hot, my first one is Luis Angel Acuna. You know, we talk about Ronald's brought bionic knees, and we're in need of some Acuna in the MLB, and he's definitely supplying that a lot earlier than most people probably league. In his first 8 games, he's had a 385 average, a 1.292 OPS, and 6 out of his 10 hits have been extra base hits. And out of the 7 games that he started, he's played 8 games, but 7 he started, he's gotten a hit in 6 of them. And this hot start to his MLB career has helped Mets fans figure out how they got him. They traded away Max Scherzer on that crazy fire sale they had last year at the trade deadline. And he's looking like another exciting piece for the Mets as they look to secure a wild card spot. And even for the Mets' future, they have guys like Francisco Alvarez, Mark Vientos. I know they lost Brett Beatty, but he's still there. He's still a young guy, and they have a ton of top 100 prospects. So even now and in the future, the Mets are looking pretty solid thanks to the sudden rising of Luis Angel.
Who's their second baseman currently?
I think they moved Jeff McNeil around. So if Lindor's healthy, then it's Acuna at second base.
Yeah, you think he'll earn the starting job?
I mean, he's playing himself to the point where the manager, I can't think of who it is, but it's impossible to keep him off the field if he's playing as hot as he is, and he just has that flair like his older brother too. So they definitely need that fire to just keep it going. Why not just keep running with it?
I think it'll be a fun thing for years to come because it's division rivals.
Yeah,
there's
they're
no
gonna
love
play each
lost
other.
between the Mets and the Braves and the brothers, and to have two brothers play at the top stage would be pretty special.
Imagine if Lindor never got hurt.
True. I don't think we would have seen this.
Never seen that.
So, thanks, Frankie. So my second, who's hot, I want to go with the Guardians bullpen as a whole. And this is a bullpen that's been dominant all year. Amongst qualified relievers, they've pitched a combined 2.61 ERA this whole season. But this pen's performance in September specifically has been a big contributor to why the Guardians already clinched that division with 5 or 6 games left. Especially, it's equally impressive seeing that there's 3 teams behind that are in the hunt. That just goes to show how good the Guardians have been playing as of late. But thanks to this bullpen. And amongst relief pitchers that have appeared in at least 7 games for the Guardians, they combined for 78.5 innings pitched, only surrendering 9 runs in that span. I don't care what anybody else says. I mean, I know the Padres bullpen looks good, and there's some other teams, but this is the best bullpen in the home league. I don't want to hear anything else. Stats prove it. They might not have as many well-known names, and they got Class A, but just this whole bullpen is just elite. And then my who's not, the Kansas City Royals. I mean, they're folding like a cheap suit, like the saying goes. I mean, they are 2-8 in their last 10, 7-game losing streak. But this isn't the whole team. The pitching has been very good. 11th in team ERA, 7th in team WHIP in September. This is all on the hitting. In September, the Royals as a team have the 2nd worst team batting average, the worst team OPS, the 2nd least hits, and the least amount of runs scored. And we talked about it a lot when it happened, when Vinny Pasquantino got hurt. I didn't realize it was this bad until I looked into it, like, this team, they might be cooked. And the remaining 2 series they have on their schedule is the Nationals and the Braves. And the Nationals have a lot of controversy on their hand. But I don't know. This time of year, especially with teams that get eliminated, they can still play spoiler. And I have a feeling the Nationals might try to do that with the Braves, or with the Royals, and then the Braves might put the Royals out of their misery. So if you're a Royals fan, each day is coming with its own anxieties.
L7 is unreal, and Vinny P being out is monstrous now. But my who's hot, no shocker here, you've seen it all over MLB, everywhere. The unicorn himself, the founder and only member of the 50-50 club, Shohei Ohtani. The next closest player is Willie Mays with 24 bags and 51 homers, along with others such as A-Rod, Brady Anderson, and Ken Griffey Jr. None were able to reach 50-50. And I think a big contributor to this is that he's not pitching. I think that Shohei could have done this numerous years in a row, if not this whole time. But I think with him being so dedicated to his craft, he wasn't able to solely focus on hitting, but do a really good job with both. But now he's truly elite at just doing the hitting this year. And it's been exciting to watch. Even in his last 7 games, he's batting .500 with 6 home runs in his last 7 games. So I think the unicorn nickname speaks for itself there. And my who's not, we spoke about it a little bit earlier, but the Orioles. One of the youngest and most talented teams in the entire league. Jay and I both agreed that we thought that they would win the AL East. They battled a long time, but they have fell off drastically in the second half. Since the All-Star game, their last 60 games, they're 28-32. So it's a losing record. You could say, oh, that's not that much of a difference, but especially in that division of all divisions, that's not going to cut it. And I still think that overall their 4-game lead in the wild card is enough to make them make it to the postseason, but they've fallen back 6 games to the Yanks, and they'll have to play in a wild card round, which they're looking like they could very well be a team that is bounced in the first round. Plus, I'm also a little bitter because they just needed 1 win in their last 2 games against the Tigers to get me my free burrito, so still a little upset.
It's up to you.
I don't think it'll take very long.
Well, where are we at right now, timing wise?
We're only 20 minutes. I think we can do both.
I mean, I got something, but
Is
I
yours
mean,
long?
somewhat.
Why don't we do yours and then we'll see where the timing's at and then we'll.
Okay. Alright, guys. So mine's a little just fun one, kind of reminiscent of. I personally like Dryland's ranking of jerseys and stuff. And so I was just gonna ask you guys, can you guess the top 10 most sold jerseys of the 2024 season?
I can definitely guess number one.
So who's number one?
Shohei Ohtani.
Okay. Number two?
Aaron Judge.
Nope.
Is it Bobby Witt?
Nope.
Or we have to guess them in order, or can we just guess the top 10 and kind of work our way through?
We're gonna go one by one.
Okay, this might take a little
Yeah,
bit
it's
then.
gonna take a minute.
Okay, can we get it?
Is it?
He's a
Mookie
first
Betts?
baseman.
It's Freddie Freeman.
No.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? Oh, it's Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper.
Okay.
Okay. Number three. You already said.
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge. Number four.
Juan Soto.
No. You already said him as well.
Bobby Witt.
No.
Vlad?
No.
I already said it. Dang.
Right fielder. We switched from shortstop.
Tatis? Really?
No, short. Well,
Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts. All right, five.
Tatis.
No.
Juan Soto.
No.
Bobby Witt.
Okay, here. He's currently not active.
Mike Trout.
Acuna.
Acuna. Six. We already said it.
Okay, that was
Freddie Freeman.
We can steal names like a fire hose.
AL.
Bobby Witt.
Juan
He's out of
Soto.
the top 10.
Juan Soto.
Okay, I was about to say.
Seven. I don't think you've said him yet.
Jordan.
Nope.
Altuve.
Nope.
Altuve's in the top 10 though. Yeah. Haven't said him yet.
I don't think. Yeah, you haven't said it.
Are there any pitchers in this whole list?
No.
Oh man.
Which league is he in?
No.
NL. Arenado?
I wish.
I'm trying to think.
Manny?
No.
Is it Freddie Freeman?
No, you guys.
I
You
was gonna
said
guess
Freddie
the same
Freeman.
five names every single time.
Dude, what?
Man.
It's ugly.
Is
I
it?
think
Lindor.
Lindor.
Oh, Lindor. Okay.
Okay, eight. You said him.
Is it Bobby Witt? Oh, it's
Manny?
No. Nando. Eight.
What? You said Nando twice.
No. I think
Oh,
you thought it was.
Nando with Mookie Betts. 'Cause he
Oh,
did-
yeah.
So eight's Fernando. Okay, nine.
Altuve.
No. Well, you know where he's at now.
Not 10, yeah.
So he's nine. You haven't said him yet.
Haven't said him yet. Which league?
AL.
Okay, Gunnar Henderson.
Nope.
Yes.
He's a vet.
Jaron? Jose Ramirez?
He's a vet?
A veteran.
Oh, he's a vet. Okay.
They're currently
Sal.
they got eliminated.
Salvador.
Corey Seager?
Corey Seager.
Wow.
Altuve for 10.
So,
Bobby Witt, not even in the top
No.
10. I guess
Dude.
him 300 times.
Gosh.
no Freddie Freeman either. Corey Seager and Altuve were the ones that surprised me.
Altuve's
I'll
in
tell you
there
not,
every year.
not
Yeah, he's
surprising.
in there every year.
He's just not.
He's supporting the short kings out there, dude.
Yeah.
I guess he's like the face of the Astros.
Face the Astros and
20 years.
I guess Kansas City fans are just sniffing Mahomes, but yeah.
Plus, everybody loves a Hall of Famer. You know,
Sure.
or, well, not everybody, but.
Well, it's my 7th inning stretch.
Oh, what do we have for time?
We're at 24.
So we'd probably finish it at 30 if we just did the series of the week. But,
Well, we might finish it before, so.
that'd be good.
I'll say we save this.
Alrighty. Alright, we're gonna move on to our final segment, series of the week, the contest of Ryland losing every week. I'll start us off here. So this one is one that could potentially be very important for the wild card picture for the NL, but very much more important for my heart. It's the Padres at Los Angeles for 3. So this is their next series starting Tuesday before they face the Snakes in Arizona. So right now in the standings, Padres are 3 games back of the Dodgers, which means if they were to sweep, which in LA against that team is no easy task, but they have played them well all year, and they do have a better record on the road. So if they potentially were to sweep the series, they would then be tied for the division lead, and they do have the tiebreaker, and then it would come down to Padres versus Arizona, and then I think the Dodgers play the Rockies again, which is not particularly helpful, but could make things really spicy. So to get us started there, I am going to go with the Padres. I don't think that they're going to sweep, but I do think that they will win 2 of 3. They've owned the Dodgers in the regular season in 2024, and again, they play better on the road. They're really hot right now, and I'm going to go with the Pods.
As much as I love the headlines that would happen and how Twitter and social media would go to war between Padres and Dodgers fan bases, and I know that you said that the Padres are actually like they have a better record than the Dodgers.
I think they lost to the Dodgers 2, maybe 3 times all year.
So yeah, it's finally for a change. Like they've been better this season, but I mean the Dodgers are on an all-time high right now because of Ohtani, and you know what? Like it's still kind of like big brother, little brother. Well, you know,
For sure.
little brother gets some fun, and you know they're on fire. Then big brother gets to just smack them in the face, and they're on the ground again. I think this is going to be the case with the Dodgers. You know, just they're on the high horse. Oh, little brother wants to run. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dodgers based off that.
So how have the record, like the Padres record at home this year? You guys kind of know off the top of your head.
So the Padres at home are 45 and 36.
Because weren't they like notoriously bad at home last year?
Yeah.
We're pretty much bad at most years. We're just a better road team in general. We have the hardest ballpark to hit in.
But they're over. I mean,
They have
were 500 last year at home.
I guess I can see.
It's like
So yeah, the Dodgers have won. They're 3-7 against the Pods this year, and then for the Padres record at home, they are 45 and 36. So they're almost 10 games over 500, and then away they're 45 and 30. So
and then last year they were 1 game better. They won 1 more game this year at home than they did last year.
So
that's okay, yeah, because there's no more home games. So
Right,
they only
so-
did 1 game better.
Only 1 game better than they did last year.
So that's why I'm actually, like, as a Padres fan, I'm happy that these 2 series against the division rivals are on the road because I just trust them more away from home than I do at Petco.
That's what I was thinking when you guys are talking. I'm like, the Padres. I was like, would they have more of an advantage at home? No. So again, I think they're going into LA. I looked up. I'm guessing the 3-game matchup's going to be, at least for the Padres, was it Cease, King, and then Musgrove probably?
I haven't looked yet.
No,
They don't
it
have
might
them
be
posted.
flips.
They don't have them posted yet.
I mean, because
It's probably ceased in today or tomorrow or whatever. So, because Perez pitched last night, and then today was you,
Which is crazy because they've never lost a game behind them this year.
and then Musgrove pitched on Friday. So I'm just guessing it's going to be Cease, King, and then Musgrove again.
Which is our 3 big guys
So-
right now.
I think I gotta go Pods. I think they take 2 of 3. Yeah, so I'll go Pods.
right.
Alrighty, take us.
All right, I think this one's like the big boy of the
This is-
last week.
This is the most important one that you're about to say.
So Mets at Braves for a 3-gamer. What are we thinking?
Dude, I
This
mean,
is a tough one.
they're both playing great.
I
Like,
honestly think this is a harder guess than the last series, personally. So, in their last 10, Braves are 6-4, Mets are 7-3.
pretty much spot on. Dead similar.
And I think just for that fact, I know they have some players that are starting to ball out for the Braves, and they do have a better track record. I think the Mets are just a little bit hotter right now. I think the Braves are kind of a little too late. I can definitely see myself eating these words considering I suck at this game, but I'm going to go with the Mets on this one.
And I'm looking because I still have the tabs pulled up. You know, they're, what is it? They're 1.5 games they're 7th and 8th in team OPS, Braves and Mets, and team RA at 5 and 6. These teams they're pretty much spot on, like with each other, even though the Mets have like the game and a half lead. And another thing I was looking at too, I mean Atlanta has that series against the Mets and then KC. The Mets get to play, or they're currently playing the Phillies, and play this series against the Braves, and then they play the Brewers. I mean the Mets are on like a gauntlet right now. So I want to be interesting. I want to just go with the Braves, just based off the wear and tear that they've been going through with this final stretch.
Well, if I'm looking at this right, I think they're 5 and 5 against each other this year. So this truly is a who really is just hot that series, because it'll go either way.
So I'm gonna look up real quick.
You said Mets, right?
Is Lindor coming back at all before the playoffs?
That was a good question.
Because like, if he,
What are you?
So is Acuna playing short in place of Lindor?
yeah,
I think it kind of makes it even more impressive his run right now.
They're saying maybe Tuesday, which that's the is that the first game? Or is the first game tomorrow?
First game is Tuesday.
It is. Yeah. So they're probably trying to get that dude.
He said this article here said he was progressing and he just got a facet shot.
Yeah, they're trying to get this dude. I'm back on the field as fast as possible.
So I think I'm just gonna kind of bet on him coming back at some point during the series, and if he is, I think that's just a little bit of extra oomph for the Mets. I think the Mets would win anyways, but I think that'll push it over. So I'm gonna go with the Mets.
Okay. Yeah, I said Braves. So, so for my series, I kind of touched on it a little bit. This time of the year for teams that are out of contention, been eliminated, they do still have some purpose left in the season. They can be spoilers. And that's kind of why I selected this series. Giants at D-backs. The Giants are a talented team. I think it was just a case of too little too late, try to make too late of a push. But don't get me wrong, I don't think Bob Melvin and his squad is going to turn over. I think they relish in the fact that they can maybe spoil some seeding, or maybe if they play well enough, maybe cause some chaos and maybe have a hand in how the D-back season turn out. And since I've been talking so much about spoils, I think the Giants have a chance of spoiling the D-backs here. I'm going to go with that.
I think that, like you said, the Giants are the more dangerous team from the standpoint they have nothing to lose. This is the second to last series of the year, so might as well just empty the tank on a division rival. But looking at the Giants all year, they're a 500 ball club. They're 2 games under 500 on the year. They're 5 and 5 in their last 10. Snakes have been pretty scorching second half, and they know how important this last 6 games are. And to see what they did last year, I think that they're built for this. I think they still take the series, but I don't think it would be a sweep. I think it would be 2 or 3.
Okay. My heart tells me to go with the D-backs, but just to make it extremely interesting for this week, I will go with the Giants.
For the sake of the pod.
For the sake of the pod.
Alright, where are we at for timestamp?
34.
Perfect. That looks good. Alrighty. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll see how Drake Snakes do. Todd, if you're listening, we did talk a little bit about the Padres. Hopefully that kept you long enough to listen to the rest.
Hopefully we fixed the audio.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. We know that last week's episode was a little rough. We're trying out some different things to try to get it as best as possible. There will be bumps, but we appreciate you guys sticking it out. This has been Yapping Ball.
Hasta luego.
On the road to 10, guys. 10th anniversary. It'll be fun. Alright, see ya.